graduated in 1975, had a cup of coffee with New Orleans that year, ripped up my knee, and came back to coach at Rutgers. So it was a great experience for me to be on staff as a grad assistant on Coach Burns' staff. I was there for 2 years when we went undefeated, great experience there. And then one of the guys who graduated ahead of me, Bob Morton, was down at Texas working for Texas Instruments. And he said they were hiring some for marketing positions, so I went down on an interview. And what I want to tell you is that, you know, the prestige of Rutgers University, as soon as you go outside the state, gets enhanced. And I've lived all over. I lived in Houston, Texas, working for Texas Instruments. I lived in Sacramento, California. I lived in Mexico City and Massachusetts for 20 years. But the very first interview that I had at Texas Instruments, you know, you give them your resume and it shows Rutgers University, and the first gentleman says, "Oh, Rutgers University, is that an Ivy League school?" And I said, and I went out of my way to say, well, it's not really an Ivy League school. We play a lot of Ivy League schools, official, you know, Columbia, Princeton, all of those schools. And you know, it's in the Northeast, but it's really not. And I took about 2 minutes to talk to him about our school and things like that. Next interview I have, the gentleman asked me the same question. Rutgers, oh, is that an Ivy League school? And again, so they think that it's a very prestigious school, much like an Ivy League school might be considered. The third gentleman, again, he asked me, oh, Rutgers, is that an Ivy League school? And I said, yes, sir, it is. It's an Ivy League school, and you know, it's one of the highest most prestigious schools that you'll ever see in the country. We were the first class, and this is the class of 1975, where they offered 25 full NCAA scholarships. Now, back in the day, they were called Turner Bar scholarships, but back then, I don't think no one had ever, or Rutgers had never offered 25 full football scholarships. And it was interesting in that because they had also never offered 5 quarterbacks scholarships, and that we had 5 guys who were recruited as quarterbacks to come into Rutgers. So we were before there was a Fab Five back in Michigan, we were the first Fab Five. And I played defense. Andy Farkas ended up as a quarterback being recruited there, and he ended up playing defense. Steve Havron played quarterback, and he played several games at quarterback at Rutgers. John Piccirillo, another quarterback recruited from Berkeley Heights, he ended up punting. And the 5th quarterback was Chuck Supon, and Chuck had been a terrific middle linebacker, but he wanted to play quarterback, and he ended up transferring out to Slippery Rock, someplace in Pennsylvania. One of the most important plays, I guess, or most famous plays at Rutgers is as a punt return. It was a 94-yard punt return against Princeton in 1974, and I was returning punts, and we were playing Princeton, and it was a 0-0 game, 0-0 late in the 3rd quarter, and I'm returning punts. And the rule on punts is if you stand on a 10-yard line when you're back to your goal line, and if you have to take more than 2 steps back, you kind of fair catch, wave your hand like you're going to fair catch it, and let it go back in the end zone. Well, I figured it's a 0-0 game. Might as well take a chance on something. And I'm looking up and find the ball, and all I remember was the sky was really gray that day. So I got a good look at the ball, and I started looking back down at the Princeton guys coming downfield. And I said, wow, they're slow. There's nobody coming down. And I'm taking another step back, and another step back, and another step back, and I'm saying, well, I'm probably not supposed to do this, but I catch the ball, and you know, not supposed to do this, but take off, break a couple tackles, and go 94 yards for a touchdown. Well, that's cool. The next thing I knew, Jimmy O'Halloran's picking me up, and we got a 6-0 lead. What I find out later, after I get back after the game, was I'm Bert Kossip, who was a quarterback on that team, and he would be next to Coach Burns every time there was a punt return, and we would get possession of the ball. And he'd be next to Coach Burns waiting for the play. Coach Brands was up in the booth. Coach Brands would say, okay, based on the field position we have, he'd you know, tell Bert what play to run. Well, find out, again, at the frat house that as the ball's coming down, Bert's standing next to Coach Burns, and Coach Burns is yelling, he's yelling, no, no. Man, God, Tony, don't catch that one. Let it go in the end zone. And then as soon as I catch the ball and break a couple of tackles, there's Coach Burns yelling, go, go, go. And all of a sudden, breaking the clear, and, we score 6. And, it was a crazy game. And because at the end of the game, our fans and the Princeton fans, who knows, tore down both goalposts, and the game ended up in a 6-6 tie.